not prepared!
Welcome to another Top 5 with Kris 05, guys. Today we're gonna check out what are the best performing decks 1 week after the mini set released. So far, the mini set hasn't really done too much of an impact on the meta, and that's probably not gonna change. But still, in this video we will see what are the best performers, and we will go in detail for those 5 best decks, but we will also check out all of the other best performing archetypes for each individual class. So keep on watching till the end. If you're serious about Hearthstone, definitely consider subscribing to the channel, because I don't have plans to stop giving you top quality top 5 meta reports. And also don't forget you can hire me for some Hearthstone coaching for lower than 20 bucks per hour. Now let's check out the decks. The first deck on the list is gonna be Control Warrior because it's just too good. Right now Control Warrior has so much armor gain and so much control, it's not even funny facing something like this if you're somewhat board centric. The deck got access to some pretty cool new tools, including Tidal Revenant, which did seem pretty expensive for what it does, but it's actually pretty powerful, not so much because what it does, but because you can actually pull it out of your ingenious Lava Gorger, and that's even more extra armor. Let's not forget Control Warrior right now can discount a lot with their From the Depths, so this is really gonna be an 8-drop for you, and even if it is, it still does enough to feel good. We also have Alexstrasza in here, which is basically the same concept here because she's expensive, you get to pull her for extra armor like that, and she can be used defensively or offensively. We still got Nelly in here, which scams a lot of games with Mistress Mites. Mutinous can need a lot of win conditions for the opponent, especially with Brand doubled up. And you also have School Teacher, so you can get access to some extra armor gain, again doubling up with Brand most of the time. We are not running Kazakhstan in this deck, since we don't really have room for too many dragons, and as you can see we're missing the Onyxian Drake as well as the Amalgams. But the deck still keeps on winning, even though the win rates with the Kazakhstan version are pretty close, so you can be running both, depending on what your preferences are. We have room for one Viper in here as well, so you can control the weapons a little bit, but the rest is pretty much standard Control Warrior. Matchup wise, this is what it looks like, and the mirror matchup here is considered to be the Kazakhstan variant, I'm assuming, because in that case you're probably gonna be heavily unfavored. Boar Priest is also gonna be pretty strong against you, because no matter how much armor you gain, they're still gonna be able to clap you for 90 damage, and you're gonna be out of mana as well. Celestial Druid can be pretty hard as well, but the rest, as you can see, is pretty green. Mulligan wise, you are a control deck, so it's gonna depend on what the matchup is, but From the Depths is always gonna make the cut. Outrider's Axe is also pretty good, Shield Shatter against board-centric matchups, combined with a Buckler. Nelly can be pretty good, I guess. And if you already have From the Depths, you could even keep Sir Finley. Rakara can also make the cut, Ingenious Lava Gorger as well, and the rest is probably very situational. Going on the coin, again the Depths is at the top, and Sir Finley becomes a lot more keepable. I'm not sure you're gonna be keeping it without Depth though. Shield Shatter is still strong, especially here since you are going second, so you will have to control the board. Weapon's still good, Rakara's still good, and even stuff like Shield Block and Heavy Play become keepable too. Like I said, the Kazakhstan Warrior list is still doing pretty fine as well, and it's at a pretty close second, with lower sample size, but still. Charge Warrior is also doing mighty fine. And from Diamond to Legend, we can also see some Quest Warrior action, sitting at mediocre 52.5%. With a lot more higher sample size, you can see it at 51, so it's definitely not as special as it used to be. Moving down to the next deck on the list, and that is the so-called Boat Rogue again, because apparently Thief Rogue is not a thing anymore. But let's be real, Thief Rogue right now has a very much more Fifi version, but still, yeah. So yeah, Boat Rogue is basically same old Thief Rogue, and we still have a flex spot card, which is the Blade Master Okani in this version, which feels awkward, but I am seeing a lot of pro players actually using this version, so it must have decent merit to it. With Blade Master Okani you can definitely outsmart a lot of opponents, but the thing is, this is a second neutral card for you, so your gnolls are gonna be a lot less reliable, to be tempoed out as soon as turn 2 or 3. Given the fact how many times I've top decked Mistress Might before I get to play my gnolls, doubling up with Blade Master Okani I can assume it's gonna be pretty bad. So yeah, it's still same old Thief Rogue, you can still check out my detailed Thief Rogue guide, and you can consider switching out Okani for whatever you feel like. Some people use Yoink, or Jackpot, or even a Viper. Or the one I actually like is the Cutlass Courier, which draws out your pirates. But yeah, to each their own. Matchup wise, Holy Paladin is not gonna be too great for you, and Control and Charge Warriors are not gonna be too fun either. Boar Priest could be a problem honestly, and I'm not sure why these stats are so good here, I'm not sure how good the Boar Priests were there. But yeah, all in all, Warriors and Holy Paladins are gonna be the problems. Mulligan-wise, when going first and second, you always want to keep your Gnoll, your tradable cards, with Cutlass being the better one, and your Shroud of Concealment. When going first and you already have some good cards, you can even keep Asheron Vessel, and if you already have the Vessel, you can even keep Prep. But definitely don't get baited keeping just Prep or just Vessel, especially when going first, because that is gonna seriously limit your potential to actually high roll early on. Here are the actual stats for going first, but like I said, those are the keeps you're looking for. And when going second, you can start keeping Asheron Vessel even without having anything else good, because you can just coin it out as soon as turn 4, and that's usually good. Your tradables are still king, your Gnolls are still top tier, Shroud of Concealment still a keep, and if you already have 1 or 2 good cards, you can even consider keeping Prep, hoping that you get a Vessel as well to go with it. And that can be an insane turn as soon as turn 3. For rogues right now, Mine Rogue is also doing pretty good, but on Top Legend it's not doing as great, so there's that. We also have a heavier Pirate Rogue version. There's also variants with Jackpot, which can be pretty high rolly because you can do it pretty fast with Swift Scale Trickster, which can really high roll sometimes. And the rest is basically iterations of those. On the number 3 spot, we have Naga Priest, which is doing pretty good right now, and it can be very hard to play against. The deck is very board-centric, and it can high roll pretty fast. Najak started seeing a lot more play in these variants, and it feels pretty much like the good Shadow Priest days, where you just tempo him out just to steal something like a free drop, and that's still good enough. The deck is basically full with cheap Nagas, a lot of buff stuff, and we also have Samro, which is pretty much your only way to get back on the board if you're losing it. The deck is not too simple to pilot optimally, but you can definitely climb some easy ranks if you know what you're doing with it. Matchup wise, again, Holy Paladin is gonna be a problem, Boat Rogue and Thief Rogue can be too fast for you, as well as Murloc Warlock, which is kinda weird, and also Shamans are not too great for you, but those are pretty rare on ladder. For the Mulligan, when going first, you're always gonna want your good, cheap Nagas, your Serpent Wig, Thriven Shadows can help you find your Serpent Wig if you don't have it yet. Crush Claw Enforcer helps you cycle with some more Nagas. Handmaiden also gives you a ton of card draw. Murkwater Scribe is pretty good too. Radiant Element, and you can even tempo him out, especially if you already have a Wig, so you can buff him up. Amalgam can be pretty good, so you can keep on getting Nagas. And even School Teacher, because it gives you a 1-mana Naga. Treasure Guard can also be pretty cute, but you probably need to be curving into it. On the coin, it's basically the same, but Queen's Guard becomes a lot more keepable, because you can put him down as soon as turn 1 as a free 4, but preferably you want to put him down maybe on turn 2, with a Wig attached, and that becomes basically unkillable. The rest is basically the same though. For other good priest decks, we have Quest Priest doing somewhat okay again. Boar Priest is still good, but you have to be really good with it, and these stats definitely don't show the best of it. Highlander Quest Priest, apparently not amazing, and yeah, the rest is just probably bait. On the number 4 spot, we have Fell Demon Hunter, with the new buffed up Zillag, as well as Keria, which can basically double up your Zillag. This deck curves out with Jace at the end, and you have plenty of good fell damaging spells like Fury, Chaos Strike, Fell Barrage, Multi-Strike is also fell, Predation is fell, and you can even get extra of those from your School Teacher. You have Lady Steno, which usually is used to tempo out in the mid-game, and you can load out some good fell spells while you're at it. We have a Viper in here so you can control some weapons, and again, Dread Prison Glaive can be a huge damage dealer. The Sigil helps you with some card draw in the early turns, and you have some good minions like Slither Spear and Battlesworn Vanguard, and you draw some extra cards with the new Fossil Fanatic, which can feel pretty good. Matchup wise, Beast Hunter and Charge Warrior can be a problem, but everything else looks pretty decent for you. Going first with this deck, you're gonna be happy keeping your Sigil, Lady Steno apparently, so you can tempo her, Battlesworn Vanguard, Kurtrus feels a little bit odd keeping first, Dread Prison Glaive still decent, Keria probably a pretty good keep as well, as long as you don't top deck Zilak, in which case she becomes a dead card for you. Vicious Slither Spear I'd assume is still pretty awesome, and depending on the matchup you might decide to keep something like Predation too. When on the coin, again, you basically see the same stuff at the top. Jace becomes a lot more keepable because you get the coin and maybe use it a turn early, and Fell Barrage can also be used to actually get back on the board if you start losing it hard. For other good Demon Hunter lists, we have just Naga Demon Hunter without Jace, and here you get to even fit in Puffer Fist or Treasure Guard or stuff like that. But yeah, for Demon Hunter, it's basically just Naga Demon Hunter or Fell Demon Hunter. And for the last deck on the list, we actually have Beast Hunter, and this is the variant my friend Hatrick is jamming right now, and he managed to reach top 100 legend with this. The deck looks pretty strong, and it has some pretty cool ways to cheat out tons of stats pretty early. You can high roll pretty hard, especially if you manage to coin out a Scribe on 1, pushing into a Naga Sprite on 2, which can be a pretty insane board of the state as soon as turn 2. You also have your harpoon gun, so you can manage to actually dredge out some of your beasts and make them cheaper. And you're actually not running that many beasts in here. You only have one saber, a couple of bears, Hydrolon, and King Crush. You still are running 2 pet collectors, and that is kinda ingenious because when you play a pet collector, you're either gonna always pull Ocheron Saber or the Sunken variant, or both, if you use 2 pet collectors one after the other. And that way the Saber can pull one of the 4 big beasts you got. You also have Revive Pet in here, so you can get back something like your Mountain Bear or King Crush preferably. Also, you got your Selective Breeder in here, which can copy extra Ocheron Sabers for you that way, or even the Sunken variant after you've played it. We also have Beaststalker Tavish in here, so it can help you in the Control Warrior matchup, but yeah, if you want to learn how to play this deck, it's probably best to check out Hatrick's Twitch stream. Matchup-wise, this particular variant doesn't have too much stats just yet, and mulligan-wise, the stats are not too good either, but you're gonna want to keep your Scribe, your Naga's Pride, your Vicious Slitter Spear, Harpoon Gun's gonna be good, Ocheron Saber as well, and in certain matchups, Tavish is gonna make the cut as well. I would assume maybe even Pet Collector makes the cut in some cases, but probably when you're going second. Other than that, for Hunter we have several other Beast Hunter variants, some slower than others. We also have some Face Hunter decks, but they're not doing super hot, and Questline Hunter is kinda in the dumpster right now. That's it for the 5 top decks. Now let's check out the other classes we haven't mentioned so far. Starting off with Druid, where we have Ram Druid still doing okay. There's a Big Druid also, which is doing kinda good. And also Celestial Druid and Skilled Hands can actually work well. With Mage, Naga Ping Mage is still doing pretty fine. We also have Big Amulet Spell Mage. Mech Mage is looking okay-ish as well, but it's definitely not as strong as the rest. And there are other Naga Mages that are not running the Ping package, but their win rate is just not as good. With Paladin, I could have honestly included this one in the top 5, with both Mech Paladin and Holy Paladin having some pretty good stats. Hand Buff Paladin is doing pretty good as well. And the rest is basically iteration of those 3. For Shaman, after they fixed the bug with Bioluminescence, as you can see, it's running down to a mediocre 53% win rate where it should have been. Murloc Shaman also dropped the win rate a lot, and it's not feeling as amazing as initially did, and there's also a Control Shaman variant out there. And with Warlock, Curse Warlock is doing best, but also Murloc Warlock is still hanging in there, but that's about it. So that's gonna be it for this top 5, guys. Hope this helps you figure out what you want to be playing in this new mini set meta. Don't forget you can also hire me for some Hearthstone coaching. Thanks for watching. I'm Kris05, and I'll see you in my next video or stream.